So here I am creating a memoryscape for the word racist/racism for the Museum of Dead Words. And I interviewed Dyalekt about his experience dealing with trauma surrounding this term, mostly online and with his interactions with people. And so all of this data is coming from our interview and his personal life and experiences. I usually start this process by creating colors based on dates. So here I am using his birthday, October 29th, 1980, and assigning them values in cyan, magenta, yellow, and black channels to combine those channels to create colors. And I've also used his parents' birthdays. His mother was born on May 7th, 1957. And then his father was born in 1942. And he was actually born on a boat between Russia and America. And so the next part of the process, I record important locations to gather screenshots of topographic maps. That gives me really good textures to work with for the distortion of the images, as well as numbers that come from the actual geographic location that I use to inform the amount that I'm distorting the images. Here is Lake City, South Carolina, which is where much of Dyalekt's mother's family is from and was possibly a plantation. And Philadelphia is where both Dyalekt and his mother were born. So I'm using this portrait of Dyalekt and distorting it based on the 683 and the negative 684 that we find in the geographic location data of Philadelphia. And it's a displacement map, and I'm using the map of Lake City, South Carolina to interweave those pixels based on the data from Philly. And next, I have reduced this image down using 42, the year of his father's birth, 57, the year of his mother's birth, as the width times the height, and the resolution of 80, which is the year that Dyalekt was born. I also often use this grid that represents month and days, and I will use it as a layer to select a point that represents a specific date, but select it on a layer beneath. So it's just another way of editing out and interweaving pixels. And now I'll start to just really work with these layers to form a good composition. I've gathered a lot of data, and so I'll experiment with different blending modes to see how other layers are revealed through each other, and those base colors give me really good vibrant colors to work with. And so I kind of got to a good place after one work session of this, but it still wasn't there for me. So this is where I got to after the first session. Then moving forward, I used that month and day grid and distorted this red layer, which comes from the birth years of Dyalekt and his parents, if you'll remember from creating the colors at the beginning. And I began pulling them into dates. This was kind of an aha moment. I did a screenshot of Egypt. There was a part of our interview where someone had said to Dyalekt, I can't get African American scholarships and I'm from Egypt. And so I grabbed that geographic location, loved this texture, overlaid it onto what I had worked on so far, and was trying to get this composition right on the right side from the river. And then as soon as I flipped that layer, it lined up so beautifully with what was already there. And so it was kind of an aha moment for me. And then I went back to the topographic map of Lake City, South Carolina, and it was kind of wild how it lines up. Again, you can see this line on the right side, that dark, the trees on the right side lined up really perfectly when I flipped everything. And so that was kind of a moment where things really came together, and then it gave me a lot of negative space where there's still elements coming through. I'm interested in pushing this further and in really figuring out how to assign mathematical scientific data to someone's personal story, and how is this memoryscape transformational and more than just my own interpretation, because a lot of these stories I do feel far removed from in terms of the experience, and I want to be really careful and intentional in the way that I am creating these pieces and respectful to the audience and to the person being interviewed.